Prime Minister Narendra Modi is in Rome to participate in the G20 Summit. Ahead of the summit, Prime Minister Modi met Pope Francis at the Vatican City. The Prime Minister has invited Pope Francis to visit India. His meeting with the Pope was scheduled for 20 minutes, but that went on for an hour. This is the first time Prime Minister Modi went to the Vatican to meet the Pope. On Friday, the Prime Minister held his first bilateral meeting with the Italian Prime Minister. Both leaders inspected the Guard of Honor before proceeding for delegation-level talks. The Prime Minister, Narendra Modi, has become the first Indian Prime Minister to visit Italy since 2009. Today, the Prime Minister will be joining world leaders at the G20 Summit besides holding a series of bilateral meetings with heads of nations. This G20 Summit is going to be the first in-person meeting of member nations since the outbreak of the pandemic. The summit will discuss the global situation, particularly the need to revive the economy. After wrapping up the G20 Summit, the Prime Minister will make way, in fact, to Glasgow, where he is scheduled to attend the 26th Conference of Parties, COP26. Prime Minister Modi, in fact, today had a meeting for the first time with the Pope Francis at the Vatican. This meeting was supposed to last for 20 minutes, but it has gone on for an hour or so. In fact, we are hearing that there could be a formal statement also as to what happened during the discussions. These are pictures, in fact, live on your screens right now of the Prime Minister. There will be bilateral talks as well as the Prime Minister attending the G20 Summit. The Prime Minister meeting his Italian counterpart. He is in Rome to participate in the all-important G20 Summit in Rome. Earlier, he met Pope Francis also. That meeting lasted for 20 minutes. Later on, the Prime Minister also will be traveling to Glasgow, where he is scheduled to attend the 26th Conference of Parties, the COP26 on climate change. This is, in fact, the itinerary of the Prime Minister in his two-day visit to Italy. In fact, he left for Italy yesterday. Yesterday itself, he landed in Rome. Today, he's had a meeting with the Pope at the Vatican. He's met Pope Francis for 20 minutes. In fact, what we know is that there also will be a statement about what transpired during this one-hour-long meeting between Pope Francis and the Prime Minister today. Apart from this, on the agenda is the G20 meeting, the first in-person G20 meeting of the Prime Minister of India taking part in this meeting. Prime Minister Narendra Modi obviously is a part of it as India being a representative. And on the agenda is going to be COVID-19, the situation as far as the pandemic is concerned. Vaccines, again, is something that is expected to come up in the discussions, particularly vaccine inequity, something that the United Nations and the WHO have also spoken of, and also flagged off concerns of vaccine inequity to the G20 nations. Apart from that, delegation-level talks also expected. And then the Prime Minister will be traveling to Glasgow for the 26th Conference of Parties, or the COP26, to discuss climate change. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has already called on Pope Francis. He met the Pope in Vatican City just ahead of the G20 Summit. The Prime Minister reached Rome for the 16th G20 Summit. He's already held a one-on-one meeting with the Pope, and now he's proceeding, and these are pictures, in fact, of him being welcomed for the G20 Summit. Also, there are a series of bilaterals. We'll get you more details on that also in a bit. But the Vatican initially had not spoken about any agenda. Apart from that, we expect the Vatican to issue a statement on what were the discussions between the Prime Minister and the Pope. Well, after leaving Rome, the Prime Minister is going to be traveled to Glasgow, the United Kingdom, at the invitation of the British Prime Minister, and there is going to be an interaction on the COP26, which of course is to discuss climate change. That's an important meeting as well. But the all-important G20 meeting in which the COVID-19 pandemic, vaccine inequity and global recovery vis-a-vis the economy, these are the things on the agenda. My colleague Elisa is getting us more details. Elisa Sarafani joins us from Vatican for more on that story. Elisa, any updates that you can share with us at this point in time about what really happened at the meeting between the Pope and Prime Minister Modi? Of course, I'll come to you on what is expected as far as G20 is concerned. But first up, any details about the one-on-one meeting with the Pope?
Yes, so the meeting has just ended, as you know, and topics were covered on climate change, social issues, and also there has been an invitation for the Pope to come to India from the Prime Minister. So this is a very good sign of welcoming of good relations. Now everything will be over on the G20, so leaders will be meeting during the meetings of the G20, and we will have more coverage on that, on the topics of political issues that will be discussed. We just received some photos from the inside. Those are very secret, usually very hard to get those kind of information from the Vatican, but apparently this meeting went really well. It was very long and it was very welcoming.
Also, Elisa, do tell us what really could be on the agenda. We do know that this is the first G20 in-person meeting after the pandemic, and concerns have been raised on issues like vaccine inequity already. What more can you tell us about what is going to be discussed in this meeting? Okay, we'll just go back to Elisa in a bit from now, but these are details of the Prime Minister's itinerary in Rome, after which he also moves to Glasgow in the UK for the COP26 meet. The Prime Minister has already had a meeting with the Pope, and Elisa was just telling us about that. The Prime Minister has invited the Pope to visit India. He's arrived now at the G20 Summit, the Global Forum for International Cooperation. What we know is that issues of vaccine inequity, the COVID-19 pandemic and the world economy, the recovery, these are the issues on the agenda. There are also bilaterals, in fact, that have been lined up on the sidelines. We'll try and get a sense of what these bilaterals are also. But what we know is that after Rome, the Prime Minister is going to be headed to Glasgow in the United Kingdom, where the meeting for climate change and environment is going to be taking place. G20, remember, is a global forum where members account essentially for more than 80% of the global GDP, 75% of the global trade, and 60% of the population. So it's fairly representative when it comes to the world population. That perhaps is the reason why the United Nations and the World Health Organization has repeatedly raised concerns of the pandemic and vaccine inequity and these issues with these countries. Well, the theme of this G20 meeting under the Italian presidency is centered around people, planet and Elisa continues to be with us. Elisa, I was asking you about the G20 meeting. The theme, of course, like we were telling our viewers, is people, planet and prosperity. At the center stage is going to be discussions around the pandemic, most importantly, vaccine inequity, something that G20 countries have already been flagged off about, isn't it?
Yes, also another topic that will be covered is Afghanistan. So the Prime Minister of Italy, Mario Draghi, has stressed a lot this topic. It's something that he wants to address globally. So he's asking for a global action to the migration that can happen after the Taliban crisis that happened last August. So this will be another important topic covered during the G20, and we expect more from that.
Also, Elisa, if you could tell us a little more about the sidelines as far as the Prime Minister's visit is concerned. What are the bilateral meetings along the sidelines?
There are many bilateral meetings. Some are official meetings on the G20 and some are outside the G20. So we had the Global Progress meetings. This was the meetings of Prime Ministers from the progressive world. We had the Prime Minister of Spain. We had the Vice Minister of Germany. And those kind of leaders are meeting in side meetings. There will be hundreds of meetings during these days. and their only target is to create relations among countries, to enforce trade, and to address global challenges. So within the G20 committee meetings and outside of these official meetings.
After which Prime Minister Narendra Modi also participates in the all-important COP26 as well. Alyssa. Okay, we'll just go back to Alyssa in a bit from now, but the Prime Minister has also, in fact, earlier tweeted about what he is expected to do. In fact, he tweeted, he said in a statement before he left for Italy that he is going to be joining G20 leaders in discussions on global economic and health recovery from the pandemic, sustainable development and climate change, and all of this is on top of the agenda. He's already had a one-on-one meeting with Pope Francis, and like Alyssa was telling us, he's invited Pope Francis to visit India. This, remember, is the first in-person summit of the G20 ever since the outbreak of the pandemic in the year early in 2020. He's also spoken about how this is going to be allowing them, this meeting is going to be allowing them to take stock of the current global situation and exchange ideas on how the G20 can be an engine for strengthening economic resilience and building back inclusively and sustainability from the pandemic. Most importantly, the Prime Minister also is going to be traveling to Glasgow in the United Kingdom. That's on the 1st and 2nd of November on the invitation of his British counterpart, Boris Johnson. We're getting you all details of that story and much more. It's also going up on our website. That's indiatoday.in. You can also download the app. That's it from me for the moment. Thanks for watching.